Plymouth, a small town with quiet streets and friendly faces, or so it seemed. Beneath the surface, darkness lurked, a darkness that would soon explode, shattering the peaceful facade. The year was 2024. Spring had arrived, but a chill lingered in the air, a chill that had nothing to do with the weather. Fear permeated the town, whispers filled the air. Everyone knew the story. A young woman, brutally murdered at a lonely bus stop. Her life cut short. She was a beloved member of the community, a daughter, a friend, a bright light extinguished too soon. Her absence left a void, a gaping wound in the heart of Plymouth. The investigation began, every clue, a piece of a terrifying puzzle. The question on everyone's mind was simple, yet chilling. Who could commit such a heinous act? The answer, when it finally came, sent shockwaves through the town. The murderer was not an outsider, a monster lurking in the shadows. He was one of their own. The quaint houses and manicured lawns of Plymouth now held a sinister secret. The town felt different. Ethan Hayes, a name that would forever be etched in the annals of Plymouth's history, not for fame or fortune, but for infamy. Ethan, a young man who walked among them, a familiar face in the local music scene. He was a talented guitarist, his music a reflection of his soul. But beneath the surface of his melodies, a darkness festered. Ethan's life was a tapestry woven with threads of brilliance and despair. He possessed a natural gift for music, his fingers dancing across the strings with effortless grace. His music could transport you, evoke a kaleidoscope of emotions. Yet, behind the music, Ethan battled demons unseen. He was a prisoner in his own mind, trapped in a labyrinth of his own making. Ethan suffered from a severe anxiety disorder, the world often feeling like a stage where he was constantly under scrutiny. Social interactions were a minefield, each encounter fraught with anxiety. He found solace in his music, his guitar his only confidant. The people of Plymouth saw Ethan as a quiet, unassuming young man. They saw his talent, his passion for music. Ethan's world, once filled with the promise of music, now revolved around his darkest thoughts. He became fixated on death, his interest bordering on obsession. He spent hours online, delving into true crime forums, researching gruesome details of murders. His room, once adorned with band posters and music sheets, transformed into a macabre shrine to death. Newspaper clippings of unsolved murders covered the walls, his once vibrant space now suffocating under the weight of his obsession. What started as a morbid curiosity had morphed into something far more sinister. Ethan's thoughts were no longer his own. They were a chaotic symphony of paranoia and delusion, fueled by his untreated mental illness. He believed he was being watched, controlled by unseen forces. His once beloved music became a tool, a way to express the darkness that consumed him. His lyrics, once filled with hope and longing, now spoke of violence and despair. The day before the murder dawned like any other in Plymouth. The sun cast its golden rays across the manicured lawns. Birds chirped merrily in the trees. But beneath the veneer of normalcy, a storm was brewing. Ethan wandered through the town, his mind a whirlwind of dark thoughts. As evening approached, Ethan found himself drawn to a local bar. The familiar sights and sounds offered him a moment of respite. It was there, in the dimly lit corner of the bar, that he saw her. Sarah Miller, a vibrant young woman, her laughter echoing through the room. As Ethan observed Sarah, his warped mind weaved a sinister narrative. The bus stop stood on the edge of town, a lonely sentinel under the pale moonlight. It was a place of transition, where people waited, unaware of the shadows lurking nearby. Sarah waited for the late-night bus, her thoughts miles away. She was heading home after a long day at work, her heart filled with dreams for the future. She didn't notice the figure approaching from the darkness, didn't see the glint of steel in his hand. Ethan moved with a chilling purpose, his steps fueled by delusion and despair. His mind, a cacophony of voices urging him forward. He saw Sarah not as a person, but as an embodiment of his own inner turmoil. The attack was swift, brutal, and utterly senseless. A scream pierced the night, abruptly cut short. Silence descended once more, heavy and suffocating. Ethan stood frozen, the knife trembling in his hand. The voices in his head, once deafening, were gone. The discovery of Sarah's body sent shockwaves through Plymouth. The idyllic town was now a crime scene, the air thick with grief and fear. The investigation began immediately, a frantic race against time to find the person responsible for this heinous act. Detectives worked tirelessly, piecing together the fragments of Sarah's final moments. Her life, so full of promise, cut tragically short. The community, reeling from the shock, rallied together, offering support to Sarah's devastated family and assisting the police in any way they could. The investigation led them deep into Ethan's world, uncovering his troubled past and descent into madness. His online activity, his erratic behavior, his chilling lyrics, all pointed towards a mind consumed by darkness. The evidence was overwhelming. Ethan Hayes, the quiet musician, was arrested and charged with Sarah's murder. The news of his arrest sent ripples of shock and disbelief through Plymouth. Section 7. A community in mourning, remembering the victim. The weight of Sarah's loss pressed heavily on Plymouth. The town, once known for its vibrant spirit, was draped in a somber veil of grief. Sarah Miller was more than just a victim. She was a daughter, a friend, a beacon of light in their small community. Her absence left a void that echoed through the streets, a constant reminder of the tragedy that had befallen them. Candlelight vigils illuminated the night, the flickering flames reflecting in the tear-stained faces of those who mourned her. Flowers, letters, and mementos adorned a makeshift memorial at the bus stop, transforming the site of tragedy into a poignant testament to her life and the love she inspired. The community came together, sharing stories of Sarah's kindness, her infectious laughter, and her unwavering optimism. They remembered her passion for life, her dedication to her dreams, and the way she could brighten even the darkest of days. Her memory became a source of strength, a reminder of the importance of cherishing every moment and holding loved ones close. Section 8. The Shadow of Loss, Plymouth's Scars. Even with the trial concluded and justice served, Plymouth struggled to heal. The shadow of Sarah's murder stretched long, darkening the once familiar streets and casting a pall over the town's spirit. The bus stop, a stark reminder of the tragedy, stood deserted, shunned by those who once relied on its mundane convenience. The townspeople, once known for their open smiles and friendly greetings, now walked with a palpable unease, their eyes reflecting a shared grief and a newfound wariness. The fabric of their community, woven with threads of trust and shared experience, had been irrevocably torn. The weight of unanswered questions pressed down on them. How could they have missed the warning signs? Could they have done more to prevent this tragedy? The guilt and self-reproach lingered, adding another layer of pain to their collective grief. Sarah's absence was a constant ache, a void that couldn't be filled. The laughter of children playing in the park, the lively chatter at the local cafe, even the vibrant colors of spring seemed muted, their vibrancy dimmed by the shadow of loss. Section 9. A Call for Change. Mental Health Matters. Sarah's murder became a tragic catalyst for change in Plymouth. The community rallied together to demand better support systems and resources. Town hall meetings became platforms for pleas for increased mental health funding and expanded access to services. Parents, educators, and leaders joined forces to create a safety net for those struggling. They organized workshops to recognize signs of mental distress and provide support. The high school implemented peer-to-peer support groups for students. The library hosted monthly mental health awareness events to engage the community. Section 10. In Memoriam, a life cut short. Years have passed since the tragedy at the bus stop shook Plymouth to its core. The pain of Sarah's loss has softened but never truly faded. The bus stop has been transformed into a memorial garden dedicated to Sarah's memory. Benches offer a place for quiet contemplation, etched with messages of love. Trees stand tall, symbols of resilience and enduring hope. The garden is a space for healing and reflection, where the community gathers. Sarah's memory lives on in acts of kindness and compassion. Her story ignited a movement for mental health awareness and support.